Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for November 10th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 26. Although our numbering might be off, we'll fix it in post. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about the Kia adventure van, Bronco Returns. I will not pay over MSRP, but they'll just raise MSRP. Off-Road Hellcat and square cup holders in a Lexus. Everything's powered by ohmtown.com. So go over there and become a citizen, and you can just subscribe to the FourWheelTech, and you'll get some of the news because we actually grab a little bit of news that's automotive and technology related from all across ohmtown.com. It just, a lot of it happens to be focused in the FourWheelTech group. That's how our aggregator works. Anyway, see you on the other side. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something before I even introduced you.
Nope, I was just getting ready.
Yeah, all right. Well, hey, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And if you're watching this, the visualizer is a representation of how much computational power is necessary for the sentient AI from the future to voice their opinion about whatever it is we're talking about.
Quite a bit.
Sometimes it seems. I mean, I think that it's this old tech that you have to deal with because you're from the future and you hear that weird USB that you were actually housed in must have fallen out of the Terminator body when you transported back in time. Hey, if you want all of today's show notes, you can hit !FWT in the chat, and that'll spit out all of today's show notes. They're already over on YouTube. They'll be in the podcast when it gets published. So follow us here on Twitch and over on YouTube, and download the podcast and like and subscribe, ring the bell, send a carrier pigeon, send an email to mayor@ohmtown.com if there's any articles that you're interested in us highlighting in the show. Once you become a citizen, though, you can actually submit it. There's a little option right here where you can submit news, but I'm not logged in. Anyway, you want to get into the show? Let's get into the show. First article is over.
Let's do it.
There's that vocal computational lag. Again, I blame the fact that maybe I'll move you over to the new Apple Mini M4 because the Raspberry Pi just isn't moving fast enough. You can recompile.
Yeah, but then I'll have to keep up with the M4.
No, you won't have a problem with that. You know, I mean, you're from the future, so. According to this article, all of our articles are from Jalopnik today. That's pretty wild. Wow. That normally never happens, but anyway, so Kia better make this badass electric adventure van concept that it debuted at SEMA. The SEMA show always includes a slew of questionably customized cars, but sometimes manufacturers release tricked out versions of everyday models and eventually, well, actually get people excited, but I'm pretty excited about this one. There's a couple of Kias that I actually like, but this year Kia returned to the SEMA show with an all-terrain vengeance showcasing
Not what I think of for all-terrain.
Yeah, Kia. 2 badass electrified and off-roadified vehicles. So let's take a look. Boom. I dig this.
Oh, that's cool. That looks like something out of a sci-fi or dystopian movie.
Oh yeah, something on Mars, you know. Yeah, John Carter driving this around. If anybody knows what John Carter is, I'm amazed. But anyway, the biggest flop in like movie history. I think it made like $20.
But then it might be known because of that.
Yeah, true. I keep attempting to watch it again, but I think I've watched like 5 minutes of it over the course of 2 weeks. So based off the Kia PBV electric modular van concept, it looks seriously cool and capable. Logan Carter over at jalopnik.com put the article together. I dig this. EV9 Adventure or Adventure, it's ADVENTR because they can't just say adventure, damn it. Anyway, it's based on the currently available EV9 3-row electric SUV, but includes a 3-inch lift, off-road wheels and tires. Saw a truck today where the tires alone were taller than my car. I had left ohmTown.
Yeah, this reminds me of like a Unimog or something. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I
that's
know
actually
it's not the
interesting.
right scale, but
Yeah. But, you just put a big-ass tires and raise the cab up above the tires, and you're basically Unimog. It's an awesome vehicle, by the way, Unimog, particularly in the snow. I want one so bad, but anyway. The Kia PV5 Weekender is a lifted and specialized electric van intended to act as an escape pod for extended weekends in nature, with features like Gearhead feature that provides an off-board storage space for gear when the vehicle is parked to maximize interior usability. So the little thing rises up. You have this little door that opens up. I like this thing. Stick stuff
yeah, it
up in the
looks very
ceiling.
cool.
It looks like it has French cleat rails on the sides that you can put proprietary shelves. Yeah, this is pretty cool. This looks like a render though, but it says
Yeah,
photo.
it doesn't really look real. Like it looks,
Yeah,
I don't
kind of
know. It
fakey.
like has a lot of customizable aspects, but it doesn't look very luxurious, I guess is the way to put it.
Oh no, this is just for like hauling ass and taking names. This looks pretty cool though. I like that you can open this big old door and it's wide open, and you have these jump chairs where they're facing each other, or this is like a lounger where you can just put your feet up on ottoman on the passenger side facing the driver, and the driver actually looks like they're more centrally located. It's kind of weird, this perspective. It looks like they're closer to the center than. Yeah, pretty interesting. Yeah, I like it. So I want this. This should be in Wanted, but that was yesterday's show.
That's right. It might make its way into Wanted for next week.
Too bad. Yeah. Anyway, I agree. I agree with Logan here. This better be made. But I'm looking for a vehicle like this. We'll see. But here's another contender for maybe my MSRP dollars, which is leading me into the article after this article. Not this article, but this article. After this one, we're going to be talking about that MSRP issue. Base Ford Bronco returns with a starting price under $40,000, pissing off everybody who bought a Bronco Original.
Yeah, that's true. But keeping a lot of people happy that have been waiting to get a Bronco.
Yeah, Ford updated the Bronco a little bit for 2025, but the really big news is the return of the base trim, which Ford dropped for the 2024 model. This drops the entry price for the Bronco over $1,635 versus the outgoing model. But it was the supply and demand issue. See, now this is the Bronco, not the Bronco Sport. I do not want a Bronco Sport. I want the Bronco.
Right, but remember the base trim might mean like no steering wheel or something.
Yeah, really. You have to, it's a lease, and you have to pay a monthly fee for the tires. So Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put the article together. And the deck statement is what I said earlier. And so it says for 2025, the cheapest way to get into a Bronco is the steel-wheeled base trim for a pre-destination charge of $37,995. That price stays the same whether you choose the 2 or 4-door model, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's really shocking.
You get the standard 30-inch all-season tires, Ford's terrain management system with 5 GOAT off-road modes. And also new for 2025, a standard 12-inch touchscreen running Sync 4. The base Bronco also comes standard with a 7-speed manual transmission paired with a 2.3-liter EcoBoost i4, which is anemic, regardless of innovation. So Ford made additional comfort changes to the Bronco for 2025. 4-door models get standard rear air vents, so you're still allowed to breathe in the back.
This is good.
You can upgrade to the 10-speed automatic transmission, putting it over $42,000. Ford will also give buyers the option to add the Sasquatch package to the base Bronco, which it gives you hair implants, but not on the top of your head, all over your body.
Well, I'm not sure people want to pay extra for that.
So the package now comes with a standard 35-inch Goodyear Territory RT tires, which Ford says has less road noise. You get a 12-speaker B&O system. Buyers wanting to get paint protection can now choose a factory matte clear film. And there you go. Yeah, the thing that I don't like these little things, these little rails up on top of the...
I'm not sure really why they're there.
There's little lights, but I think it's kind of goofy. Okay, so let's just kick this up a notch. Ford made other changes to the Bronco trim lineup. Aside from the return of the base trim, the Bronco Wild Track trim is gone, replaced with the Heritage-inspired Bronco Strope Edition. Only available as a two-door. It starts at $75,635, and there's the availability of the Black Diamond and freewheeling packages on the Big Bend trim and 3 new color choices. And if you're interested in the Bronco 25, Ford says order banks are now open with delivery set to begin this winter. I think the Black Diamond is something like $90,000, I think it was.
Wow. I mean, maybe that's what Bronco is doing, is trying to lower the baseline one and then hopefully get sales of these higher end editions.
Hold on a second. Let me see. Like the entry level, I thought was... Hold on. I need to look up the 2025 because the 2024 was like $50,000 for the Black Diamond. But I thought I read that it was going to be... Oh, maybe it's not the Black Diamond that's that crazy cost. There was one that was really wild, limited edition. Maybe it wasn't Black Diamond. I'll have to look. Yeah, it starts at like $50,000 for the Black Diamond. So maybe this is the
I mean,
one
you have
now.
to look at your model carefully.
Yep. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. I'm looking for which one it is. Wild Track is priced at $135,000. The most expensive Bronco straight out of the gate is $90,000 Raptor. There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to keep on going. The next article is over in the FourWheelTech channel. Yep.
I mean, this is a good sign, but it'll be interesting to see what the manufacturers do with the pricing.
Yep. So it seems like people are done paying over MSRP for new cars. I know from driving around and looking at cars that some dealerships have taken to the marketing method of pissing off customers as they drive by, like saying in really bright print, $16,000, but then when you walk onto the lot, they have in different writing, not as vibrant, off. So the vehicle that you actually pulled over to go and take a look at says $16,000 off. With the $16,000 in neon yellow and off in a dull matte brown, written on some shady cardboard inside the car. Anyway, but people are tired of paying over MSRP. It's rather exploitive in a time of whatever, but supply and demand, I understand the mechanics of supply and demand in business in general. I mean, I went to business school, for crying out loud. I do strategic management consulting. I understand.
You don't know anything about this.
I know nothing. But I also have a soul, and
well, that's not very good for business.
Yeah, that's true. So it seems that the era of people willingly paying over MSRP for new cars is at an end, as data shows that the number of people willingly letting dealers overcharge them is declining. And Stellantis, for instance, is really feeling this pinch. So Lawrence Hodge over at jalopnik.com put the article together. The number of buyers willing to overpay for a new car saw a pretty steep drop in the last year. Yeah, kiss my shiny metal ass is pretty much the response nowadays from people. Data from J.D. Power's 2024 U.S. Sales Satisfaction Index shows that the number of car buyers willing to pay markup for a new car dropped 7% in the last year for mass market brands like Hyundai and Ford. In 2023, 15% of buyers were willing to overpay. Just 8% of buyers were willing to pay in 2024. Those numbers.
I was going to say, I think this has to do with the amount of supply, though, because there were periods where you could go into a dealership, there were 0 cars in inventory, and the dealers held all the cards.
Cards. Car apostrophe DS. Cards.
Yes.
So according to J.D. Power, the reason that the drop is higher, dealer inventories. So yeah, the struggles during and immediately after the pandemic saw buyers clamoring for any inventory that they could find. Dealers capitalized on this by being greedy bastards, especially hot models that debuted at the time, like the Ford Bronco and F-150 Lightning. Not Lighting, Lightning. F-150 Lighting is basically taking a LED bulb and screwing it to an outlet underneath it. Anyway, there were financial repercussions to this, of course. Many found themselves underwater on their car loans as resale values on certain segments tanked. If you paid $70,000 for a $40,000 Kia EV6 in 2022, you're probably in some real deep doo-doo right now.
Right, because who wants to buy it and who wants to buy a used EV?
Yeah. There's a thing. Hold on. Let me see. I don't know if this ever happens. Do loan companies actually call the gap when you have a hold on.
I don't know why they would approve a loan.
That much over, right?
Right. I mean, if it's a couple thousand over, maybe, but if you're putting a down payment or something, that's going to account for that. I don't think they would approve this.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Well, at any rate. So there were other surprising findings in the study. EV buyers are less satisfied with their vehicles than gas vehicle buyers. Yeah, that's no shit news. Because they were lied to. They were absolutely lied to. It's all marketing bullshit, right? EVs don't get their range. They don't have their lifespan. They're a pain in the ass when they break down in any way, shape, or form.
Or if there's any weather of any kind.
I mean, hell,
traffic of any kind.
Depending on the Tesla, you're parking on the side of the road. I know I take a lot of pot shots at Tesla's Cybertruck, but give me a break. Plus, we've been doing it wrong. That the whole build out and all of that kind of stuff, people are tired of it. So sales satisfaction for premium brands saw Porsche take first, with Infiniti and Jaguar coming in second and third. So, I mean, it's hard to dislike a Porsche until insurance or maintenance or changing the damn oil.
Yeah, it's not operating correctly.
Yeah, but if you can swing the bat for a Porsche or an Infiniti or Jaguar, then you're cool with the $150 it takes to do an oil change. So they also took the top 2 spots for highest rated premium car and premium SUV in J.D. Power Segment Awards, which ranks the highest ranked brands in a particular segment. That sounds so much like what's his name? Where he does $50 items from Amazon.
It's tech stuff.
Yeah.
Random Frank P.
Oh yeah, Random Frank P. He always does this thing like JD Power Segment Awards where he ranks the highest ranked brands in a particular segment. So he does like $50, $100. It's a fun show to watch, but anyway. He was going to change his name. And then his community said, hell no. And he's
well,
okay,
I mean, I guess that's a good thing. They're invested.
Yep. Anyway, let's move on. This is not non sequitur news. This is FourWheelTech. Anyway, the next article is over in FourWheelTech. Off-road Hellcat 4x4 fixes every problem you had with the Dodge Challenger. I had to choose this because I really like Dodge for whatever reason. Dodge is kind of like this chonky beast of a vehicle. And I've had a couple of them over the years, not the Dodge Challenger, but I really dig them because of that kind of beefiness of them without being too over the top. I still wanted a vehicle that you could park in a garage. So Dodge sold the Challenger for 15 years, never gave it a full redesign. What is that? Depsite, that is? What? I think it's despite
Oh,
that.
despite.
But Depsite, that's their typo. I just read it. I just read the teleprompter. Screw you, San Diego. Just kidding. I love San Diego.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Stay classy, San Diego. It sold well for a coupe and eventually proved even more popular than the Ford Mustang and Chevy Camaro. Bitchin' Camaro, bitchin' Camaro. Over the years, Dodge made a long series of improvements and offered the Challenger and other special editions. So, boom. Colin Woodard over at Jalopnik.
I see why it fixes the problems.
It's no longer a Dodge Challenger.
Well, because it can go above everything it's going to encounter.
Good God, look at that thing. But that's kind of like the vehicle that was seen outside of ohmTown today. The tires were as big as the fender well. So if it was actually set down on the tires would just destroy the fender well. So it was sat up above, kind of how this is. So, and those tires had to have been, I don't know how big, like 36-inch tires or something like that. They were beefy. Anyway, someone has finally done what Dodge was too cowardly to do itself. They raised it up. Still, though, I mean,
right, you still have the low frame.
The drivetrain is still down at the vehicle's center line of the tires. So no matter what you do, this bar right here is basically the lowest point that you can go.
Right, it's going to run into every obstacle if you're going off-roading.
Yeah, if you had independent suspension, then this bar would be gone and you'd be able to have much greater travel and all that kind of stuff. But in the back, you have the same thing with the differential. It doesn't look like it's independent suspension anywhere. So as everyone knows, Dodge eventually added all-wheel drive as an option, but you couldn't get it in all-wheel drive Hellcat. In fact, unless they missed one, Dodge never offered all-wheel drive on any Challenger with a V8. It was one of the reasons why I never got anything outside of an SUV from Dodge, because I wanted all-wheel drive. Plus, it says the lack of ground clearance and a true four-wheel drive system meant you couldn't get very far anytime you tried to take it off-road. Now, the Stellantis explainers will tell you that that's because you could always buy the Ram 1500 TRX if you want an off-road Hellcat, but that's Ram, which is a completely separate company, and the 1500 is a truck, not a Dodge Challenger.
Right. I mean, if you're trying to get the Challenger.
So it's a first drive in a 4x4 off-road Hellcat. I'm not going to play the audio on this, but oh my God, I want this.
I guess we should have put it in wanted too.
Okay. Oh, this guy's burning the stickers off the tires by lighting them up in the parking lot. That's how new this vehicle's tires are. He's driving it down the road with the stickers on the tires.
Oh, wow.
I love this. I love this. So they talk about building it. There's a whole first drive in 4x4 off-road Hellcat. It's a YouTube video. They talk about the springs that are in it and the suspension that's on it. It does not have any travel. This thing is just going to be locked in. If there is any travel. It has springs, but the whole thing is going to be bouncing up and down, not independent suspension. But and then they just, oh my gosh. Yeah. So you're going to need a ladder to get to your ladder to get into your car.
Right. How do you get into this car?
Yeah. You're going to need one of those little roll out ladders. Like you're trying to get like emergency ladders. You're going to have to do that.
Oh, right. Those ones that roll down or roll up.
Yeah. Escape ladders from your third story window. So I want this, but obviously I'll never get it because what am I going to do? I'm going to drive this to the grocery store, for crying out loud.
I
Dig
mean,
the
it would get
color.
some looks.
Yeah. So follow the link through ohmTown. It's in the show notes. It's over in the VOD. Definitely check this thing out. You'll be able to hear it, but we're not playing the video simply because we want to drive traffic to all of the people that provide sources to ohmTown and to the Four Wheel Tech show. So let's move on. The next and our last article for Four Wheel Tech tonight is Lexus designed the TX's weird square cup holders so that it would fit Stanley cups. Do you really think that they catered to the
Well, it's
Lexus?
interesting because I don't think of the Stanley Cup and the Lexus market overlapping.
I don't know, man. I mean, people really dig those Stanley cups. It's always bragging rights. I'm actually surprised that my friend in California didn't send me a picture of their Lexus with a Stanley cup in the holder.
Okay, that would have been funny.
So cup holders, no matter what the vehicle they're in, are usually round. Bucking that established trend is the Lexus's 3-roll TX family hauler. Oh, that's why. He would never send me a family hauler, which went with a strange looking square cup holder that's removable from the center console. So why would Lexus go and willingly create chaos in what is supposedly a family vehicle? Apparently it's for Stanley cups.
That's interesting.
So Lawrence Hodge...
Because any other cup is probably going to be rolling around in there.
Fit to be square. Yeah, they're both square. I guess it's so that the handle can sit thunk, but why not just make a big round with these little derpy... Interesting, right? So Lawrence Hodge over at Jalopnik.com put the article together. Yeah, in the three-row Texas or TX. I think that's intentional. TX, Texas. Everything is bigger. The TX family hauler, which went the strange-looking square cup holders. Turns out the reason is so that it could fit Stanley cups. So they asked why square. Lexus rep explained that designers went with a square cup due to Stanley cups. Those hugely popular tumblers, specifically the big ones with the handle, are easier to place in the square cup holders. You know, if I had the Lexus TX, those 40-ounce hydro mugs would fit.
I was going to say this is a problem beyond Stanley cups.
Yeah, it's just big ass mugs. Sometimes though, you really want, to just nurse that 40-ounce mug of a cup of Joe over the long haul. It's not really irrational. I mean, what's irrational about is chugging the 40 ounces of Pepsi or whatever and then going and getting a refill at the nearest gas station. That's irrational and horrible for you. So the Lexus rep explained that the designers went with the square cup because of the Stanley cups. There's more in this article, but guess what? Really don't need it. So they say that there's some clarification at the very end of this article regarding the design of the TX's cup holders. While Stanley cups were a factor in the design, they weren't the main factor. They were told Lexus designers went for what they're calling practical elegance in the interior design process of the TX, and this meant that having features that are usable, practical, and easily accessible by passengers, and the removable cup holders were one of the features designed to do just that.
That's interesting. Like they backpedaled away from the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you put a round cup holder in it to minimize
There was something in the article. Oh, maybe because it said that some of them moved around. So yeah, maybe you could 3D print something to put in there. I don't know.
Why does it say unlock? Because you can pull this whole thing out.
You can take the cup holder out.
Yeah. So do they have a round one? It didn't say it, right?
I don't think they do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, how to say that I've never owned a Lexus without saying I've never owned a Lexus? That right there. Not that I really find Lexus any more appealing than any other car. I'm very utilitarian, if no one's guessed that, or if anyone cares to hear me say that. Anyway, so we're going to unlock our cup, and that's going to land us back at the front page of 4WheelTech, which is where all of the news for 4WheelTech usually gets aggregated, but we grab stuff from other areas where relevant. So you can go over there, become a citizen, and you can subscribe to all of the channels. We got 50 channels. Go check it out. Anyway, I am Mayor Watt, and the sentient AI is going to... there was a 10-gear transmission in that one vehicle, the Ford Bronco. So put it in 10th and granny gear your way down Main Street. Yeah, that's my way of saying say bye.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for 4WheelTech. We'll have another episode of that next week. But come back tomorrow for hometown non sequitur news and some other weekly shows.
Yeah, so hometown is the network of shows, and non sequitur news is our daily show. And then we have 6 weekend shows that are 30 minutes long. But the non sequitur news show is an hour. Sometimes we run long, kind of like what I'm doing with this. So see you in a little bit, which means tomorrow. And I'm going to probably get the replay going for the daily, weekly replay. It may or may not include yesterday's shows. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, we're out of here. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.